Hello, hola, and welcome to Adventures in Language. I'm your guide, Emily, and today we're going to cover 5 ways to bring active learning strategies into your classroom. Now, in our last video, we covered what the Fluency Illusion actually is. And long story short, it's a cognitive process by which our minds can convince us that we understand more about the learning material than we actually do. Basically, it's what enables students to overestimate what they think they know leading up to test day or leading up to a conversation with the native speaker, which in itself can feel like a test sometimes. So how can we keep our students from falling prey to this tricky illusion? Well, the answer isn't to tell them to study more. It's to tell them to study smarter. The key to doing that is to prioritize active as opposed to passive learning opportunities. And we can do this for them in class, but there's also some strategies that they can use and leverage outside of class when they're studying. Here are 5 ways that you can do this in your classroom. Tip number 1, sprinkle in at least one immediate recall activity in every lesson. So after you teach a new concept, tell your students to close their notebooks, put the textbook away, and take 1 minute to write everything they remembered and understand about that concept. This is the perfect immediate recall activity. Try to do this once every class. Okay, number 2, don't underestimate the power of pop quizzes. A day or even a week after covering a concept, start class with a pop quiz about it. Now, I know that the term pop quiz on its own has historically been cast as a teacher's way of like a gotcha moment, but it's anything but that. Testing in this form is active studying. It's effective retrieval practice. Simply put, it's good pedagogy. So if you don't like the phrase pop quizzes, not a problem. Call it something else. I like to call it ticket in. It's like the ticket in activity. So I make it a routine for my students. They know when they come into the class, they pick up the piece of paper. That's the ticket in that has a little pop quiz on it. They fill it out, and you don't have to even grade it, right? You don't even have to grade it. You could grade it for completion to reduce grade anxiety. But the important part is having that active learning testing as often as possible in the class. Okay, tip number 3, do pretests, not study guides leading up to exams. So rather than creating a study guide for your students, give them a pretest as a homework assignment, and then you can go over it in class the following day. The reason is they're going to remember more if they have to struggle in trying to answer the questions on their own than if you give them a perfectly curated list of the grammar points and example sentences. Pro tip, don't feel like you need to reinvent the wheel. You don't have to create a whole new exam. You can just use last year's. Tip number 4, I love this one. Tell your students about the Fluency Illusion. No need to kind of keep it from them, right? You can also equip them with appropriate study strategies if you talk openly about the Fluency Illusion with them. There are many ways to implement this, and you'll find the best one for you and your class. One way that I've done it that can be fun is to show them some data from the research that shows the Fluency Illusion in action. And it can be really powerful to illustrate it and see a graph that's like, if you study and then take a test versus like study, then use an active learning strategy and then take the test, you do better. That can be really effective for students. And then after showing them that data, you can have a think, pair, share activity and ask them, say, hey, come up with a list of effective and ineffective study strategies, knowing what you now know about the Fluency Illusion. So ideally, they'll come up with things like, don't just read over the textbook, also test yourself. Or don't just read example sentences, create your own. There are a lot of things that they can come up with, and you can talk about effective study strategies with them. Now, if you don't have time to do an in-class activity about the Fluency Illusion, consider inviting your students to watch this video, which we'll link for you here, which is all about the Fluency Illusion, and it's designed specifically for the language learner. Side note, if you didn't know, we have a whole series dedicated to language learning tips and tricks that is designed for the language learner and not for the language teacher. So go check it out. Okay, onward and upward to number 5. Get your students access to Mango. The Mango app has tons of speaking activities that encourage active learning. Since we know multiple choice quizzes and picture matching, comprehension checks aren't alone going to get your students to communicative competence in real life situations. The Mango app intentionally incorporates a lot of critical thinking activities, which prompt the learner to produce original sentences in the target language. If you don't already have an institutional license, go ahead and ask your admin about it. And you can show them why resources like the Mango app are so important for language learners. If you're looking for a nice resource on that, check out the PDF that we've shared in the description because it has a lot of information about the second language acquisition research and principles upon which the Mango Languages app has been built. All right, it wouldn't be pedagogically sound to leave without a nice, crisp recap. So we're going to do that together. Here are the 5 ways that we discussed to engage your students in those active learning strategies. Number 1, use immediate recall activities. 2, include pop quizzes. 3, assign pretests, not study guides. 4, tell students about the Fluency Illusion. You could link the video and share it with them. And 5, set them up with the Mango Languages app. Well, thank you for watching. Now that you've finished the video, I hope you feel inspired to take these ideas into your classroom. I know I'm excited for you. If you liked the video, please let us know by subscribing to the channel. And as always, if you have a question or an idea for a video that you'd like to see from us, let us know down in the comments. We're always listening. Vidai, do widzenia, and I look forward to seeing you back here next time. Bye! Thanks for watching. This is your friendly reminder to not forget to get your free Setting a Goals worksheet, which you can access through the link in the description. In next week's video, we're talking about student-driven teaching, what it is, why it matters, and how you can seamlessly incorporate it into your classroom. Well, my fellow language teachers, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.